It's time for another episode of Love, Marriage, and Fantasy. I am Star Claiborne.
And I am Anton Leonard Claiborne, and we are your global relationship strategists.
We live our marriage on the guided principle, no one or no thing.
So, take some time, listen, as we make sense of all of this. We talked about playing your role in a relationship. That's still relevant in this presentation because it is highly important for you to know your role in your love relationship. Now, not only do you need to know your role, but you also need to know part of your partner's role. It's important for you to know at least the basics of some of the things that your partner does, just in case he or she becomes ill. You will be able to fill in during that downtime that they're experiencing as the other team member in the relationship. You should be able to take over and I'm sorry, not take over, but assist your partner in doing whatever it is they are working on. But then, if the time comes when they have to be out because they're sick or whatever, you should then be able to at least take over and maintain what's going on, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. What were you gonna say something? No. No. Okay. So that leads me to talking about this very sensitive topic that we're going to address, and it can cause a relationship to fall apart if it's not addressed very carefully. What I'm talking about is miscarriages. Now, of course, as a man, that's something that on the physical level, I will never be able to experience. But emotionally, a miscarriage can affect men. It can affect men, I'm going to say almost as much as it would affect a woman on an emotional level. Almost. But, I wanted to take the lead on this. Actually, she made me take the lead on this to tell the truth about it. But that's okay though. Because hold on, wait.
That is true.
Wait, let me.
I want them to hear you say that men can be affected.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay, he's gonna get to that.
All right.
He said that. I wanted to stress that.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So as a man, your role would be to, if you find out your wife is pregnant, your role would be to help reduce the stress factors in her life. This is coming from a man who has been through the miscarriage experience. And I'm telling you, when you find out she's pregnant, do your part to reduce her stress. Actually, you should be doing that anyway, right? You should be doing whatever you can to reduce the stress factors in your wife's life. However, when you find out she's pregnant, then you should be doing even more to eliminate those stress factors. And that means in the home and outside of the home. Do whatever you can to help make her daily experiences less stressful. All right? Okay.
No, really, I want to just kind of talk about the whole stress factor because, for the women, um, it's important that you as a woman, whether you are in a relationship that is causing stress and that person who may have gotten you pregnant or you decided to have this baby and you all are going through your problems, that you don't assume that they don't care and don't assume that they don't feel those emotions. And that was why I really wanted to point out the fact of what he said, that they do feel those emotions and they do feel things. Sometimes they won't express it or they don't express it in the way that we want them to express it. But we need to be mindful. Yes, as a woman going, and let me say this because I have had a miscarriage. Okay, so as a woman that has had a miscarriage, going through that time, it is very difficult, and we are stressed, we are emotional at that time, but it doesn't give us the right to assume that the other party involved is not feeling any type of emotion, and to be cold-hearted towards that person. So, but again, I can tell you firsthand that stress was the factor in my miscarriage. Um, there were a lot of things that were happening prior to that miscarriage happening, and I know for a fact that it was stress. So that is one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself as a woman, and like you said, as a man, please. I know we get emotional when we're pregnant. We become like sometimes a totally different person.
Sometimes.
But and I'm not saying that's acceptable, but I am saying men, yes, please be mindful of that. But women, please be mindful of yourself, that you can sometimes cause your own stress because you're allowing certain things and certain factors into your life. And this kind of leads back into last week's discussion, because we're still in that place of allowing certain things to happen in our life that are keeping the stress going. And so for me, I learned in the pregnancy following that I was just going to eliminate the stress factor. I can say that as a couple, if you are in a relationship, and not just this specific unexpected situation, but any unexpected changes, whether it's, the illness of a family member, or anything with a change of job, or anything that can bring about more stress into your relationship, it really is more of taking that, I guess it's like a relationship checkpoint,
Okay.
taking that time and just, it's going to be a sign for you that, you need to stop. Both of you need to stop and make time to discuss what is happening.
Right.
Don't keep putting it off. Make time to discuss what's happening so that you can understand each other's emotions and understand what needs to happen next for either the two of you or the family as a whole, to make sure things are good. So that's anything. It's anything that comes along that things. I mean, there's going to be a lot of unexpected things. And then another thing I wanted to point out, another suggestion is, before, you even get too deep into it, or if you're already deep in marriage now and you're watching this, it's okay to take a moment and say, what are those unexpected things that I've seen other couples go through that we have just never talked about? There's so many things that we see other couples go through. People are losing their homes, they're losing their jobs, they have sick parents, they're getting all kind of terminal illnesses, miscarriages. Pregnancy is unexpected. Even when you're married, it's unexpected.
Even let me say this though, but even the sudden success of a business, that's unexpected.
Yes.
And when something like that happens, it can immediately start to consume a lot of that entrepreneur's personal time.
Yes.
So the things like this you need to sit down and talk about. Especially if you know that communication is one of the key factors of keeping a relationship intact. When you realize that something is wrong, it's time for, like Star said, it's time for the two of you to sit down and say, hey, let's sit down and talk about some of these unexpected things that could cause a split in our relationship.
Yeah,
right?
Start talking about it now. Don't wait for it to happen, because sometimes the emotions become so strong and you're so stuck in your emotions that you can't even think through the situation clearly in order to make the best decisions, and then it causes the relationships to fall apart. So that's kind of what I wanted to say about the whole thing, but just be prepared for those unexpected things.
Okay. Well, I'm going to throw a question at you. You ready?
No.
Sure you are. All right, so let's talk about playing the lottery of life, though. All right, let's talk about that, because I've heard people say, I don't play the lottery because it's gambling. If I'm going to gamble on anything, I'd rather gamble on my life. Yeah, there's truth to that. Every day when we leave the safety of our homes, we are taking a chance in going out into the world and trying to live our lives. But what I want you to realize is, you well, everyone who decides to leave their home and go out into the world to do what they need to do, at that moment they're overcoming fear. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes, you're overcoming fear. You're taking a stance and you're saying, regardless of how I feel internally, I have things to do. So I need to get up out this bed, go out of this house, leave these four walls, go out here, face my fears, do what I need to do. The moment you decide to step out of those four walls that you call your home, you are then becoming the best part of yourself. Do you see that? Can you understand that? You are becoming the best part of who you are. You are the manifestation of the alignment of all your centers of energy. And you are going out into the world and saying, I will be damned if I let anything stop me from reaching my goals today. Now, you may not say it the way that I just said it, but your determination is there. How do you know? Because as your day goes on, you're achieving your goals one after another. You might get distracted here and there, but throughout the day, you're achieving your goals. You're checking them off your list as you go, right? Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. I want you to remember how many times you wake up, go outside the comfort of your home, and you face your fears so that you can reach your goals. Once you begin to remember that once you begin to remember that at will, I'm sorry, recall it at will, you will find that your fears will no longer have control over you. What do you think about
No, I'm just kidding.
that?
No, that's really good. I was gonna say, send us some messages and put it in the comments or however you want to let us know what fear you are going to attempt to overcome in the next week. Um, I don't know what that fear may be, but what fear is it that you're going to what fear are you going to
That's right.
push through in the next 7 days? We really want to know, what are you going to do and how are you going to do it? And if you need help, reach out to one of us. Again, you have our information. Contact information 678-835-8102. You can email us at info@claibornecoaching.com. Call, text, but reach out to us and let us know, if you need help. But what fear is it that you have that you want to start pushing through and start and let us know, share it with us because whatever you're trying to push through, there's probably someone else who's trying to get through the same fear and you really don't know and you don't have that support. So let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We will do our best to help you with whatever fear it is you're facing, because we know that fears can be conquered. It's all a matter of using the information that you have. So that suggestion that Star made is actually a very good thing for us to talk about. When it comes to balancing your life, having your finances in order is very important.
Yes.
Get your money in order, right? Where you are spending the bulk of your funds so that you'll know how to manage that. It'll also tell you where you wait. It'll also help you to realize where you are wasting money. Man, keeping your financial house in order will help you to sleep better at night.
Yes, it will.
You understand? Just keep that in mind, y'all. Take some time to make sure your finances are in order. Do that. Because some people, they need someone on the outside looking in at their finances to help them to manage it.
Yes, I learned something very important at the last seminar with, and it was definitely a misconception for myself, and I'm sure many others. Do not wait until you win the lottery to get someone to help you with your finances. You do not need a financial advisor. You do not need a financial coach just because you won a large sum of money or you make hundreds of thousands of dollars. You really need that person when you're not making any money so they can help you make money and help you multiply what you already have and invest it correctly to get to the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So when that was brought to my attention, it was just something that was an eye opener for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people who have not had that financial knowledge to actually understand that. Like it's not when you get all the money that you
Mm-hmm.
need someone to help you manage it. That's good too, but you really need it when you don't have all the money, so they can
Right.
help you make all the money.
That's right. That's
So
right. And you can start small. I'm going to share with you one thing that one of my teachers told us during our spiritual studies. And he said that people look at money the wrong way. They don't use it as a tool. It's actually a tool. And so in order for you to, in order to help you understand that, let me tell you this. In order for you to efficiently complete a job, you have to have the right tools and know how to use those tools. You start off with the simplest task first, right? And then you go on to the larger tasks. So that you complete whatever it is, so that you can complete whatever it is you're working on. And so in the case of money, we were told that if you're trying to save $1,000, don't look at the $1,000 as this huge goal that you're trying to reach. Break it down into smaller pieces. And you can start simply by saying it's only $100 at a time, you know, or you can even go smaller and say it's only $20 to get to the $100. Then from the $100 to another 100, and so on until you get to 1,000. But it's better for you to look at it that way instead of you saying, "Oh, I need to get $1,000. That's a lot of money. I don't know how I'm going to get there." Well, you can just break it down into smaller pieces, smaller segments, and say $100 in times.
yeah,
That's it. You say, okay, if I save $100 one month for 10 months, you've reached your goal. You get that? Okay, so then at that point, you can start using that tool. Use that $1,000 as the tool to help you do whatever it is that you're trying to do. But the point is for you to get, the point I'm making is for you to have a better understanding of how to use money. Do you agree with that?
absolutely, absolutely. And we will definitely get some good financial tips out here for you all. But don't wait until you feel like you have a lot of money, or if you're waiting to get to that place, it's going to be too late. You need to start reaching out now to get financial assistance with where you are and how to make that grow. Because it doesn't matter how much you have, you can still make it grow.
That's right. That's right. And that making it grow could begin with, I think I'm going to go off into the topic we were going to address. Making your money grow can begin with you taking actions and letting go of the suggestions when it's time for you to take action. And that during that moment when it's time for action, there's no more time for thinking. It's time for doing. I've learned that that's where a lot of people make mistakes when they're trying to work towards their goals. They spend a lot of time thinking about what they need to do. At some point, you have to stop thinking and then start taking action. Now, can you think on your feet? Absolutely. You can. However, when you are in the moment of complete concentration on whatever task that you're in, I mean, whatever task you're facing, there's not going to be any thinking. You will just be doing. Your body will be responding to whatever it is you're facing at that moment. So then there's no room for thinking about your suggestions, is there? No, there isn't. You're only left with taking action. It's during moments like that when you are living what they call in the spiritual world, they call it living in the now. Okay, and that's when you're not thinking, you're not worried, you're not questioning. You are doing. As the thoughts come to you, you are doing. Martial arts masters, they teach this about fighting. When you are fighting, there's no room for thought. It's all about doing. You're living in the now. When it's time for you to block a punch, you block the punch. You don't think about which arm should I move. You just move it. Well, then what I'm suggesting to you now is when it's time for you to take action on any goal in your life, drop the suggestions, let them go, and go forward with whatever action you need to take, whatever motions you need to take. Believe me, what's going to happen while you are taking action, all of the studying that you did, all the review of the suggestions that you received, if it was valid, if it was useful information, you will recall it as you are going through the motions of doing whatever it is you have to do. It will be brought to the forefront of your thoughts, and you will be able to use that information to take you on to the next step of your task. Right?
Absolutely. You have to take immediate action.
So so to speak on that on the relationship side, the same thing applies to you men and women who may be in a relationship with someone. When you feel the need to say something to your partner or do something for your partner, that's the time for you to do it. It's no longer time for you to ponder on whether or not they're going to appreciate it or whether or not you should do it. But when it comes time for you to do something for your partner, people just do it. Don't let the idea of you being clumsy or not being able to present it the way you want to because you don't have the money to present it the way you want. Just perform the task. Do it with a sincere heart, and your significant other, they will appreciate your sincerity. You don't always have to do it big. Doing things on a large scale does not mean that it's going to make the outcome better. It's not necessarily guaranteed that the outcome is going to be better.
Right.
Sometimes it's the little things that make a huge difference. So just remember that when you're in your relationship, when it's time for you to do something for your partner, do it. Even if that means you sacrificing something of yourself or something of yours to do whatever it is you need to do or want to do for your partner, make that sacrifice. Make that sacrifice with this in mind, that what you are doing is an investment in your relationship. You see how that works? It's a part of the whole ideology of you reaping what you sow. You put out good things, you'll get good things back. Okay, so if it's necessary for you to make a sacrifice so that you can do something good for your partner, do it. Because you know you will get something good in return.
But that's about it. Anything else?
I think we're good. That wraps it up for another episode of Love, Marriage, and Fantasy.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Claiborne Coaching. Download the podcast Love, Marriage, and Fantasy and look us up on Facebook at Claiborne Coaching.
All right, so we'll see you next time.